was a sight from my soul.
G'day guys, welcome back to a bit of a different edit. On this one I've installed a winch up on the roof of my 200. It helps assist the tinny on and off, so I'll give you a quick look. Winch is just up there and pretty simple, just runs to the front. Right now I've just got some tyres as a buffer. You've got to get something made up, goes into the hitch, and that just helps the transom work off it. But just got these as well to guide it down, so it guides it nicely onto the ground. But yeah, check out how I made it though. Here you go. So this is the winch. I welded up this bracket that will hold it on top of the rack, and that sort of sits on there. Winch sits in there, and yeah, that way it's removable off my rack on the top. So it sort of just bolts in up here into these tracks, and then the line will run over the back. I'm about to wire it up. I'm just going to rip this drawer out and then run the wires from the battery through the isolator. It's got a remote switch as well, a remote control to run it, so no more back breaking lifting of the tinny. It's only 70 kilos, so it's a 3,000 pound winch, and it's got a bit of Dyneema rope and a hook that goes on, so got it pretty cheap from the local Autobahn. They're on sale, so yeah, I'll set it up and show you how it works. Alright, so the drawer's out. This is where I've got all my 12 volt electrical. This is currently going over to a little Travel Buddy 12 volt oven on the other side. I got to wire him up. I might do that at the same time now. But everything else up there comes into the canopy down here, and it all runs off that 170 amp hour AGM battery. So the plan is I'm going to run the 12 volt line from the front battery. I've got two in the engine bay. Run back here, that's where I go to the solenoid, and that's where I can plug in the receiver for the remote, and then I'll come back out here, down up the canopy and onto the roof rack there. Makes it a little bit easier to work without that drawing. Let's see how we go. Alright, so I've got my 6 gauge dual core that I'm going to run. I'm going to run it through a MIDI fuse with a 60 amp. I'll probably have to up that. And I've got a 50 amp circuit breaker there as well, but I might have to up that. I'm going to sit the circuit breaker just in here, and in beside my drawer I can hit that circuit if I need to protect the solenoid. And I'm not going to run it up there because I want to put in a 240 plug, or at the other side there, I'm not sure, for the inverter, which I haven't got the inverter in yet, but that's where the inverter circuit is. So my solenoid I'm going to sit in back here out of the way, and yeah, I'll run that dual core now all neatly from the front battery. Alright, well this is the final run. So I've got solenoid back there, which has most of the wires to it. The isolator here, I've got another gland going through there. It'll come up onto the rack, and I should be able to test it and see if it'll run the winch, and then tidy all these wires up and tidy it up at the top there. I also did the front battery here. I brought it up here. I need to tidy that up, but this is the MIDI fuse. It's going to hold a 60 amp in there, and then negative straight to the battery for this one because it's going to run the winch. So that's running the back there down along the chassis and pops up in here to the solenoid, and then through the isolator up onto the roof. The reason I have a fuse up the front is if so it gives us a big surge, then it'll pop that before it buggers my solenoid. And then I've got another isolator out here, which will be just my draw goes in there. If I'm using the control or something happens and the winch just keeps going, doesn't stop, I can easily just hit that button and it's gonna stop whatever's happening up there. So bit of a safety thing. I'll finish all this up and hopefully before the daylight runs out I can give the boat a crack and winch it up. Alright, I've got to put in a little fuse and then it's moment of truth. Okay, that's the MIDI fuse in, the breaker's here, and I've got to plug into the solenoid the remote receiver, which is this one here. So this tells the remote, or the remote tells this what to do with the winch. Alright, I think I've got everything. Let's turn this remote on. Red light's flashing and it should work. Let's see. Ooh. How is that? Finally there. Let's have a look on top. How's that? As easy as that. I used the tyres there and I had to sort of bring it out a bit, but with the other buff it should work quite well. No more reefing it off. I don't know the best way to sort of get it off the rack to start. I sort of just gave it a nudge, but other than that, yeah, it works great. All right, well, I'll throw it back on and we'll see how it works. So that's it for the rooftop tinny install. This is the jobs I've been doing while I've been self-isolating, so I'm glad I've got that on. In between going to work, I've been just working on the four-wheel drive, ready to just go on an adventure, get away up north or whatever it is. Got the UHF on as well. A couple aerials, one a bit longer for when I go away and one short around town, fits in the shed. So that's just mounted here. I've got it up on a magnet mount and my phone's the same, up on a magnet mount, so they can swap over if I'm traveling. So yeah, that just plugs in down here, and it sits in behind here, the unit. I'll show you a picture of it all apart and mounting it in. A little bit scary taking it apart, but it went all back together fine, no rattles. So yeah, I don't know if you like this one. This is a bit of a different thing from diving, I guess, but yeah, if you enjoyed it, let me know. Comment, like, give it a like, share it with your friends, whatever. But thank you to everyone who's been subscribing. It's awesome to see. I think it's just every time I post a video, there's more subscribers, people who like the things I get up to, especially family. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and cheers. I'll see you on the next one. Whoops.